Tucker Carlson said the inside part out loud. He has now said Donald Trump is too old to be running for president of the United States. Now, naturally, it was clumped into a conversation about Biden, but he clearly said he agreed. Both gentlemen, too old to be president of the United States. And in a related but unrelated story, Eastman, a co-defendant with Trump in the Georgia election meddling case, has admitted to guilt. I will show you. All right, here it is.
Like I thought he should have done the debate.
Yeah.
Like to me, if you're voting on the president, you want to hear him debate. He's brilliant. He's the best to ever play the political game. So to become president, I think it was the right move not to do it. But for the betterment of the country, I think you should be on the debate.
I kind of agree. I like the debates personally.
I mean, how else is people going to decide?
The problem is that the news companies that host the debates are so rotten and corrupt, and everybody knows it.
The whole thing's rotten.
The whole thing is rotten and corrupt. Is Biden going to be the nominee?
I don't know. I'm not a political person, but I feel like there's been a shift where internally, maybe the Democrats don't think he can win, and they're setting the stage to do somebody else. I think it's crazy if to be honest, I think both Trump and Biden are too old. I don't think you should be able to be that old and be president. But I think Trump certainly.
I agree 100%.
Damn, Tucker. Tucker went 100% in, and he gave the Freudian during the proclamation that both Biden and Trump are too old to be president of the United States. The reason I highlight this is because they have both, and I'm talking about Biden and Trump, they have both been a personification of what is deemed to be, well, let's just say hierarchy America. Both of them. They are up in age. It is interesting that typically the only individual who gets called out on age is Biden. Well, they're pretty close in age. And now Tucker Carlson has said something else contrary to those who follow him, consume his information. The spin is going to be interesting. All right, so former Fox News host Tucker Carlson agreed with Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy during an interview on Thursday, after he said that both former President Trump and current President Biden are too old to be president in 2024. Biden is 80, Trump is a young 77. All right. Also, this is what else happened. One of the co-defendants went on Fox News talking about the guy who just got indicted for meddling, for interfering in democracy. Well, here's what he said.
John, and just again to clarify this, on January 6th, what did you want to happen? And how was that historically grounded? In the history of our country, how would that have taken place? So just so the viewers can understand what would have unfolded and how that would have ultimately been constitutional.
So there, several things. Some people had urged that Vice President Pence simply had power to reject electors whose certification was still pending in legal contests.
I don't believe that, but go ahead. I don't believe that.
I don't either.
That's one thing I don't agree with.
And I explicitly told Vice President Pence in the Oval Office on January 4th that even though it was an open issue under the circumstances we had, I thought it was the weaker argument, and it would be foolish to exercise such power even if he had it. What I recommended, and I've said this repeatedly, is that he accede to requests from more than 100 state legislators in the swing states to give them a week to try and sort out the impact of what everybody acknowledged was illegality in the conduct of the election.
Damn, son. You're a lawyer, sir. You know you had a right to not say a damn thing, but you did. Pro-Trump lawyer Eastman, co-defendant in the Georgia election case, joined Fox News, Laura Ingraham, for a two-part interview and raised a lot of eyebrows on Wednesday, with comments that many observers interpreted as an admission of guilt, including myself. I will explain. Ingram posed a question to Eastman at one point in the interview, and just again to clarify this, on January 6th, what did you want to happen? Spoken like a prosecutor. That is an open-ended prosecutorial question. On that day, sir, what did you desire? What did you want to actually happen? Now, if you answer the question, you have given us intent and frame of mind. It continues. The Guardian's Hugo Lau noted, quote, former Trump lawyer John Eastman says on Fox News that he wanted on January 6th, what he wanted on January 6th was for VP Pence to delay certification from happening for a week. Not news, but in his own words, it sounds like he wanted to impede the certification, end quote. There's more. It's going to sound like that to prosecutors, judges, and juries too, replied lawyer George Conway. A journalist and commentator added, I only want to steal a little of the bank's money. It's not a defense, it's an admission of guilt. So let me explain some dynamics here, which are very important. The reason why Pence had to certify the election within a particular frame of time is because the Constitution mandates that the election be certified within that frame of time. And if you do not certify the election within that constitutional language and context, you now are in a constitutionally undefined territory, which was the purpose. That is what they wanted. Trump wanted the nation to go to a place that was constitutionally undefined. Because in those moments, typically, the executive power can start making up rules and you sort out what was right and what was wrong later. So he wanted that. He wanted that undefined space. He did not want Mike Pence to simply reject everything. I mean, there was a strategy for him to simply delay. Ask Mike Pence. There was a rejection strategy and there was a delay strategy. Delaying the certification is illegal. Rejecting the certification is illegal. Eastman just admitted he's guilty of trying to coerce, mandate, influence, whatever you choose to call it, the vice president of the United States of America at that time to delay certification. You already have chief of staff, former chief of staff, Meadows, admitted under oath that he did in fact coordinate the phone call with Raffensperger in Georgia. But he was doing it under the guise of a federal officer. Thus, he should be tried in a federal court. He admitted that he was doing it under the direction of Donald Trump because the man was chief of staff for who? If he's doing it as part of his job, he's doing it as an extension of what Donald Trump wants. Fascinating. Mayor, do you see it any differently, sir?
Not at all. I'm over here smiling like cookies, man. Listen, this is unbelievable. The way you laid it out is extremely clear. It's you can't delay, reject. They're both impeding. Impeding on someone's constitutional duties. An officer, a federal officer, is in trouble. You are putting. What I'm seeing is the RICO case. The RICO case for Fannie is being built for her by these defendants. Every time they open their mouths, it seems like they forget this is not Fox News TV show for a Republican popularity contest. Donald Trump's not gonna save you. These men are setting themselves up to go to prison. And we know John Eastman was this little known lawyer, but became famous after he did the Eastman doctrine. Yep. Donald Trump creating this document. And I'm telling you, these people are in some serious trouble. And I don't understand who is defending these people. And I hope they don't have themselves as clients, because Abraham Lincoln himself said, what a fool that would be. Yeah. But every time they go on Fox and open their mouths, I see them incriminating themselves. Something that is different though, Dr. Richey, is, did you notice how Laura Ingraham was retaliating or pushing back on this idea that Mike Pence should have? This is a different new space for Fox. You see Fox being afraid after that large lawsuit. They know they cannot afford to continue to get on air and lie. Because they can't afford another $1 billion settlement or whatever that settlement was. I will go back to this Tucker Carlson. I find it very rich of Tucker to act as if Fox just became rotten. It's because they fired him. You were there for 20 plus years doing the rottenness. You were a part of rotten to the core. Literally, this is a person who in private space talked about Trump regularly when he was on Fox News. But when it came out, when he was on air, he was a Fox phenomenon. And now I should say Fox and Trump. And I should also go further and say, brother, ain't it beautiful to watch all of this happen in our lifetime? Not beautiful in a crazy way, but beautiful in an insane way. The idea that we have lawyers impeaching themselves on TV. Yeah. We have a president that 91 charges that's about to go to prison. You can say what you want to. There's no safety for Trump. We see Brian Kemp, a Republican that I'm not bragging about in Georgia, but a Republican governor telling them we will not have a special session for Donald Trump. He's a grifter and he's gonna stand his time in justice. And Fannie is not gonna let him go.
Let me say this about the Republican governor you just spoke about in Georgia quickly. Not only did he say no to the special session during that time, he also just said no to legislators who are moving to remove D.A. Willis. He was on public broadcast yesterday, and he said she has done nothing to be removed, and he will not play political theater with this. Whatever you say about him, he said, I followed the law. End quote, basically. Once again, I disagree with him politically on virtually everything, but that was a principled stand.